Hello everyone, welcome back to iRacing and welcome for the first time in a very long time to the Ferrari Fixed Challenge. I haven't driven this car in almost a year, so I'm rusty. The physics have changed, and to make matters worse, we're at Summit Point, one of the tightest, twistiest and most technical circuits on the iRacing calendar. What could possibly go wrong? Let's get down to the grid and find out, because the lights have just gone green. And there's a huge gap in front of us already. It was a really messy formation lap. Lots of stopping and starting and weaving. It's given us a lot of space, and I'm glad of that now, because there's absolute mayhem in turn 1, 3, 4, 5 cars out on the dirt to the left. We had to come to an almost complete standstill then. That's allowed Chris Bennett and Ruben Fernandez to pass us up the inside. We'll gain another position back with a car on the grass to the left, and another one by the looks of it out in the gravel to the right. It is all kicking off on this first lap at Summit Point. I think that we've lost about 50% of the field already, and we're not even halfway around this first lap yet. Incredible stuff. I've got no idea what position we're in, but we've got to be inside the top 10. But as it stands, we're trailing Ruben Fernandez. He was one of 2 or 3 drivers who profited from that turn 1 incident. He was on the inside and he had the clear gap to get through, while I was stuck on the outside and had to come to an almost complete halt. I was a little bit cautious through that section. It's the slipperiest part of the track, and I'm worried about the cold tyres, so just taking it a little bit easy. That's given Fernandez an extra tenth or 2. There's another car going up the grass verge to the left there, so that will give us one more position as we cross the line. So where are we?
You're in the top 10.
Fantastic. We're up into 7th positions. We've gained 5 places on that chaotic opening lap. Right, let's go back and count the casualties from lap 1. This is the first corner. Now watch for the black Ferrari. That's Julio Bierenbach, who absolutely spears through the pack and leaves a trail of devastation in his wake. He must have got a tap. Let's ride on board. Yeah, right there. He gets a nudge into the barrier, and from then on he's a passenger. I'm amazed he didn't take more out. Adi Prabowo's the driver behind. There's the contact that turns Bierenbach's Ferrari into a missile. It gets worse for Prabowo too. He gets clipped from behind into T1, and that causes 3 more cars to crash out. Now, the most high-profile victim in all of this was the number 10, Roman Diarrajo. He qualified 4th on the grid. He has to run out wide to avoid the first incident, and just when he thinks he's made it, he gets tagged by another spinning Ferrari. And oh, what's this? An airborne car causing complete chaos. Well, that was Ko Duk-chan, who qualified 3rd on the grid. He's trying to tuck it up the inside of the number 15, Myung-Mao Koo here. He's just about got it done, but then he gets a bit squirrely on exit. That sends him up the bank into the air, and he comes down right into the path of the number 1 car, Matthias Hayden. Absolutely crazy stuff as we see car debris flying into the air. Well, in the very next corner, we lost the number 3, Noah Rupp. He slides into the sand. I suspect he picked up damage in T1. He was one of the drivers who got tagged quite heavily. And then at the end of the lap, that's Elias Sinisalo getting it all wrong in the final corner, missing his line completely, and ended up going up the grass bank. So in that first lap, we saw 9 drivers crash out. Now, we started with 18 on the grid, so that's 50% of the field we lost on that opening lap. Incredible stuff. We're starting lap 3 now. We're still close behind Ruben Fernandez.
The lead is pitting now. The lead is pitting now. The lead is pitting now. The lead is pitting now.
Well, the crew chief is getting a bit excited that we've lost the leader. Why tell us once when you can tell us 4 times? But if there has been an incident further ahead, that will promote us up into 6th position. There's a slow car warning ahead. Where's that? I can't see anything at the moment. It looks like it was Julian Ryan Dietrich who spun out, but he's rejoined in front of Fernandez. We're still getting alerts that the leader's pitting.
The lead is pitting now. The lead is pitting now. The lead is pitting now.
Alright, we get the message. I think crew chief's getting a bit overexcited.
The lead is pitting now. 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 The lead is pitting now.
Well, I don't know about you, but I suspect that the leader might be pitting now. And I'll look forward to the dubstep remix of that crew chief clip. But for now, we're going to get promoted to 6th position, because Jeffrey, the pole position man, was in fact in the pit, so he has come a cropper somewhere. Well, before we see what happened to the leader, we can just catch up with Julian Ryan Dietrich's mistake. The number 18 just running it in a little bit too hot into the carousel. He manages to keep 2 wheels on the tarmac, but it costs him a lot of time, and he rejoins in front of Fernandez and me. Now, the leader, Jeffrey, was having some terrible ping issues. You probably saw him flickering at the start. Well, he was still flickering here. That must be so difficult for Myung Mao Koo behind him. But in the end, Jeffrey crashes out, leaving Koo to take over as leader. But back to the race. We're rejoining the live action towards the end of lap 5, and the field is starting to spread out a little bit. Ruben Fernandez is in 5th. He's 0.9 of a second clear, but I've got some company. Lefteris Agalakis behind. He's just 0.4 of a second back. Now look at Fernandez. He just clips that curb on the inside, which is going to cost him some exit speed out of the final turn. We'll get in his draft now, so we should be able to close that gap right in. We're not going to get close enough to consider a move up the inside into T1, which is one of the few genuine overtaking opportunities on this track, but we will get right onto the tail of Fernandez now. So if we can stick with him through this lap, there might be an opportunity to get past him at the start of the next lap. Now we might just be beginning to gap Agalakis behind now, 0.6 of a second back to him, and we're piling all sorts of pressure on Fernandez, who clips that curb on the inside. It sends his Ferrari right over to the left-hand side of the track. That's the defensive line now. He didn't take that deliberately. That raised curb really unsettles these Ferraris. But we're looking good now. We're all over the rear of Fernandez in front, and we've not been able to shake off Agalakis either. He is sticking with us, still just 0.5 of a second back. We lose a tenth or two to Fernandez through that section, but we know we're quicker coming into the final turn, so if we can just get a better exit, we should be able to claw him in with that extra speed from the draft, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We've got a much better drive. We're closing right in on Fernandez now, so we're going to strike. We pull out to the inside, and now we're too wide, so it's going to be a battle of the brakes. We're going to have to brake a little bit earlier because we're on the inside line. It's important we hug that cab, or we don't really do it. There's a bit of contact. I take a nervous look to my rear view mirror, hoping that Fernandez hasn't crashed out. He hasn't. He's still behind me. I'm relieved about that. We didn't even pick up any incident points. A 0x for that contact, so we're all good. And we're up into the top 5. Yeah, I can't say that I'm 100% happy with my pass here. I don't like to make contact whenever I make a pass. It is minimal contact, and we both get through the corner unharmed. But yeah, perhaps that was a little bit rough of me. I needed to hug that inside curb just a little bit more. Watch again from the chopper cam. We'll see I just start to stray from that curb right there. And the contact is enough to run Fernandez out to the wider line, but thankfully not enough to push him out onto the gravel. Now, for the next couple of laps, Fernandez had his hands full with Lefteris Agalakis, which was great for me because I was able to open up a 2-second advantage. Now, by the start of lap 8, Agalakis decided it was time to make that move. He pulled exactly the same pass that I did into T1, and like me, he wasn't able to hug that inside curb either. But watch the line of Fernandez. I think he had my contact in the back of his mind when he pulled out of that one. Well, that was pretty much how it ended after such a chaotic and dramatic start to this race. The end was pretty quiet by comparison. We crossed the line in 5th position, about 1.3 seconds clear of Lefteris Agalakis in 6th. Well, as it's such a short race video, I think we've got time for a good old-fashioned crash wheel, starting with that torpedo from Julio Bierenbach when he got tagged from behind. Incredible start to this race, and it only got more chaotic on this opening lap. Exiting this very turn, we saw Ko Duk-chan get it all wrong in the most spectacular fashion. Now he's going to light up the rear here. Cold tyres, too much gas. It sends him out onto the grass. He hits that bank and he's airborne, sliding right into the path of the number 1 car, Matthias Haig, who disappears into another dimension by the looks of it. And then at the end of the lap, Ellis Sinisalo makes the mistake we've all made at Summit Point, missing the line into that final turn, carrying too much speed, and there's no rescuing it. Well, lap 2, this was right behind me, the number 11, Adi Prabhauer, getting it all wrong in that right-hander. We saw another car crash out behind him. That was the number 10, Roman Durajo. Now, both of these cars were involved in the T1 incident, and they've both crashed out again. Oh, the number 13, Stefano Ribesi, he's going to lose it into this fast left-hander. Oh, look at the driver behind Yifan Zhao trying to take avoiding action. They've both gone too. Oh, it's Prabhauer again. Same corner, same mistake, and the same barrier. Julio Bierenbach now coming into the carousel. I'm surprised we haven't seen more incidents here, but look at the speed he's carried into there. He's never going to get that stopped. He's not even going to get it stopped for the other part of the carousel. He ends up in the barrier. So yeah, chaotic start but a quiet end. Let's check the classified results, and there we are in 5th place. A top 5 finish, not bad at all for our first Ferrari Fixed Challenge race in a long time. A decent enough race pace too, a fastest lap of 109.3. Now that's on a par with the driver in 2nd place, Felipe Menezes, but it is a little bit slower than the race winner, Myung Mao Koo. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. I must admit I came into it fearing the worst. I didn't think I'd get anything at all from this one, but I've come away with a top 5. Fantastic. So it's farewell from Summit Point. Wherever you're racing this weekend, I hope you have good ones, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Cheers for watching.